ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء المرسلين، سيدنا وسندنا وشفيع ذنوبنا ومولانا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وما كان لبشر أن يكلمه الله إلا وحيا أو من وراء حجاب أو يرسل رسولا فيوحي إليه بإذنه ما يشاء إنه علي حكيم. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. I begin in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, the Lord of the skies and the earth, the Lord who created you and I in infinite mercy, and of course in utmost perfection, and sent us to this universe for no other reason than to see what we're made of, to make it simple. Allah says, تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. Allah in Surah Al-Mulk beautifully depicts to us our purpose in this life. Many people ask, why have I been created? And for those of you who have been here in the previous nights, I have been speaking about a consistent theme. A theme which highlights to you and I the purpose of our existence. A theme which tells us what we're supposed to be doing in this world. And of course I covered it from 4 different aspects. We have 2 different goals in this world, like I mentioned in my previous nights. Allah says, وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ. And he who fears the position of his Lord receives 2 heavens. As in, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what do you mean 2 heavens? Many of us are just used to 1 heaven. I die, I either go to the heaven upstairs or even to the hell. Now when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ, what is Allah supposed to tell us? What is He trying to tell us? What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us is that if you purify yourself and if you realize your purpose in this world and repolish the fitrah that I have given you, then this world becomes a heaven as well, just as the one hereafter. This world that we're living in, the world that we eat and walk and talk and have fun, Allah says this can be a paradise as well, just as the one in the hereafter. وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ. Yesterday I spoke about how man, regardless and despite every other creation, has been given the ability to represent Him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you and I only the ability to be His vicegerents on this earth. وَعَدَ اللَّهَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَيَسْتَخْلِفَنَّهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Allah has promised man, Allah has promised you and I, if you have faith in me, criteria number 1, faith. If you have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and if you do good, then to a certain extent, you purify yourself, Allah says you will become my representative on this earth. What we call al-wilayat al-ilahiyya. We are given divine authority. Yet today, my dear brothers and sisters, I would like to cover a topic which can relate to all of us. And this is the concept of revelation. One of the highest levels man can attain regarding his relationship with his Lord is when man begins to attain and receive direct revelation from his Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He purifies himself to such an extent and he repolishes his fitrah that Allah has given him. He begins to have a direct connection with his Lord. He begins to live in this world. You find him, his body is here, but his mind and soul have already transcended to the next. الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا. Those who remember Allah while they're sitting, while they're standing, and on their side. You find him, he's walking with you, but his mind and soul have already ascended to the next. When analyzing this concept of revelation, you'll find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala beautifully depicts it in the verse that I began with. He says, وَمَا كَانَ لِبَشَرٍ أَن يُكَلِّمُهُ اللَّهُ إِلَّا وَحْيًا. Allah has never spoken to His creation except through these three forms that Allah mentions in this verse. What does He say? He says, وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ يُكَلِّمُ بَشَرًا إِلَّا وَحْيًا. وَمَا كَانَ بَشَرًا إِلَّا يُكَلِّمُ اللَّهُ, number one, وَحْيًا. Through what? Revelation. أَوْ مِنْ وَرَاءِ حِجَابٍ, or from behind a veil. أَوْ يُرْسِلُ رَسُولًا فَيُوحِيَ إِلَيْهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ مَا يَشَاءُ وَهُوَ الْعَلِيُّ الْحَكِيمُ. What does He say? He says, or he sends a messenger to His creations and He gives them the message that He wants them to give. When analyzing the concept of revelation, you'll find that you can classify it in 5 different forms. Because of course, revelation that we receive can be compared to the revelation that Rasulullah received. But nonetheless, we can receive revelation. And inshallah, I'll allude to it in my points that will come up inshallah. 5 major forms that Allah speaks to His creations. The first form which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses to connect and to speak to His creations is through instinct. Instinct. But this form is exclusive to the animals. Now you may ask, what do you mean? Does Allah give revelation to the animals as well? وَأَوْحَى رَبُّكَ إِلَى النَّحْلِ أَنِ اتَّخِذِي مِنَ الْجِبَالِ بُيُوتًا. Allah has revealed to the bee, this bumblebee. You know, we find a bumblebee, whenever we see it, we try to run away from it. But we don't understand that this little bumblebee in front of us receives revelation from Allah. وَأَوْحَى رَبُّكَ إِلَى النَّحْلِ أَنِ اتَّخِذِي مِنَ الْجِبَالِ بُيُوتًا. And the beauty of the Quran is that you can take a verse, you can analyze it not only religiously, you can analyze it historically, you can analyze it intellectually, and you can analyze it scientifically as well. Scientists will come today and tell you what? They'll tell you each bumblebee, this little bumblebee, regardless and despite its size, and despite how minute it is, holds 850,000 brain cells in its brain, in its head. Notice, bumblebee, I see in front of me, it doesn't come to one part of my finger. 850,000 brain cells in its head. And indeed, it's not hard to believe. As in, what tells this bumblebee? To go to the flower, and to extract from it the pollen and the nectar, and to go back to its hive. And another bumblebee in the hive is awaiting its arrival. It gives it to him. This bumblebee takes the nectar, it takes the pollen, and it puts it in the wall cell until it ripens, until it becomes honey, and then man comes and eats it, and this honey becomes a shifa for the sudur. Shifa'un lis-sudur. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala beautifully justifies it. He says, this bumblebee knows what it's doing through revelation. Number one, through instinct. Number two, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to His creations through an angel. This form of revelation is exclusive to the prophets. Exclusive. Confined to the prophets as well, only. Through an angel, whether through Jibreel, or whether through any other archangel. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only speaks to man through an angel, only to the prophets. Number two. Number three, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to His creations through dreams. Of course, not every dream. It may be simply you ate too much the day before you slept. Not every dream is a revelation. Allah says that I can reveal to my servant through dreams. Ya bunay, inni ara fil manam, inni adbahuk. What does Ibrahim tell Ismail? He tells him, oh Ismail, listen to me. I have just received revelation in my dream, and I have been commanded to sacrifice you. To sacrifice you. And indeed, he didn't sacrifice him. Why? Because Allah revealed to him again through the sheep. He's telling him that this, what we call sacrifice, is going to be delayed for a greater night. And inshallah, we'll allude to that in our majlis. He said, this is not the sacrifice that I wanted to undertake. There's a greater sacrifice that will come on the 10th of Muharram for Allah Abdullah al-Hussein. He delayed it. Number two, through dreams. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then speaks to His creations through a voice. Notice Musa alayhi salam, when he was walking with his family members, what did he see? He seen a burning bush. He said, let me go to this burning bush and see what's going on. He goes to it immediately. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to him. He tells him, Ya Musa, inni ana Allah. Inni ana rabbuka, wa akhtartuka. He says, I have chosen you. فَاخْلَعْنَ عَلَيْكَ إِنَّكَ بِالْوَادِ الْمُقَدَّسِ طُوَى. He says, you are in the sacred land of Tuwa. Take off your slippers. But what did Allah, how did He contact Musa? Through a voice. Does this mean Allah has a voice? Does this mean Allah has a voice? No. Because if I say Allah has a voice, I'm comparing Him to me. And by comparing him to me, I'm going against the Quran. The Quran says, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. There's nothing like that can be compared to him. Yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses this voice as a means to His creation. We're not saying that this is the voice of Allah. But Allah has used this, just like the other forms of revelation, to contact His creations. A dream. The next form that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to His creation is through the concept of inspiration. And this is, inshallah, will be alluded to in the coming up points. But the question that we need to ask, is revelation confined exclusively to the infallible and to the prophets? We ask the question, is revelation exclusive to the prophets or not? What does the Quran say? وَأَوْحَى رَبُّكَ إِلَىٰ أُمِّ مُوسَى وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّ مُوسَى أَنْ أَرْضِعِيهِ فإذا خفت عليه فألقيه في اليم ولا تخافي ولا تحزني إنا رادوه وجاعلوه من المرسلين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends revelation to the mother of Musa. I ask you a question. Is the mother of Musa a prophet? No. Is the mother of Musa infallible? No. How did she receive revelation? Through the fifth form of revelation that I just told you, through inspiration. Number two, the disciples of Jesus. وَإِذْ أَوْحَيْتُ إِلَى الْحَوَارِيِّينَ أَنْ آمِنُوا بِي وَبِرَسُولِي. The disciples of Jesus, they received revelation as well. Again, are they prophets? No. Are they infallibles? No. And here the question arises, if the mother of Musa was able to receive direct guidance through revelation from Allah, and if the disciples of Jesus were able to receive direct revelation from Allah, then why is it hard for some to admit that the descendants of Muhammad Rasulullah received direct revelation? The mother of Musa is not infallible, neither is she a prophet. The disciples of Jesus likewise. Why is it hard for some to admit that Muhammad received direct revelation? وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِمْ فِعْلَ الْخَيْرَاتِ. Wahi, revelation, and we have appointed them as imams in our earth. وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا. They guide through our command. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِمْ. And we reveal to them to do good. And indeed, it's not hard to believe. You find A'imma, 9 years old, 12 years old, are posed the most difficult questions, and they're able to answer it instantly. Take Imam al-Jawad, for example. Imam al-Jawad, alayhi salam, one day is walking, and he crosses a street in the land of Baghdad, in the city of Baghdad. Ma'mun Rashid, the son of Harun, is coming. He's going on a hunting trip. So as Ma'mun comes, he's passing the street. All of the kids playing in the street run away, except Imam al-Jawad. He stays there standing. Ma'mun comes down from his carriage. He tells him, "Oh little boy, all the other kids have ran away. Why don't you run away? What's your problem? What's your deal? What's going on?" He told him, "Number one, neither have I done anything wrong. And number two, I wasn't blocking your way." Ma'mun is impressed. This guy is 12 years old. What's going on? He tells him, "What's your name?" He tells him, "My name is Muhammad." He told him, "Who's your father?" He told him, Ali ibn Musa al-Rida. He said, now I know what's going on. Ali ibn Musa al-Rida. So he kept on going in this trip. While he was hunting, Ma'mun had a hawk. The hawks of the kings, what would they do? They would go out and hunt for the king, and they'd come back with something for him. The hawk went and came back with a fish. So he took the fish in his hand. He came back, he found the kids running. They all ran away except Imam al-Jawad. He came to him. He told him, "You claim to be an imam, and you claim to be directly connected to Allah. Tell me, what's in my hand?" He puts the fish in his fist and he puts it behind his back. He tells him, "What's in my hand?" He told him, "Allah has created tiny fishes in the sea. And He has allowed the hawks of the kings to come and take this fish. And they take this fish and put it in their hand. And then that king would go to the members of Ahlul Bayt and challenge them and ask them, 'What's in my hand?'" He told them, "What are you?" I said, "Joking, what's he doing?" He was amazed. He said, "What's going on?" And indeed, he began to respect him. He said, "Indeed, you are a worthy son of Ali ibn Musa al-Rida." And he took him and he gave him a loyalty house right by his castle. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. My point is what? My point is that regardless of their age, despite his young age, Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam was connected through direct revelation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now establishing that even the non-infallibles can receive revelation, the question arises, we can attain that as well? How can we attain revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is the question that we have to answer tonight. And I ask you all to pay me your undivided attention, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us all with a fitrah, with a pure disposition, a nature that is intrinsically pure. Meaning what? Allah says, فِطْرَةُ اللَّهِ الَّتِي فَطَرَ النَّاسَ عَلَيْهَا لَا تَبْدِيلَ لِخَلْقِ اللَّهِ. This is the nature Allah has given man, and none can change it otherwise. Allah has given you and I a pure slate. Unlike our Christian brothers, we believe we've been created pure. Islam has come and negated the concept of the original sin. Has said, Allah has created you pure. Number one, if Allah has created man with sin, you're going against the very justice of Allah. It's like a teacher giving you a test and she has already minus 30 points. It doesn't make sense. Allah says, I have created you pure. And after that, it's up to you whether you maintain this pure fitrah or whether you corrupt it. Receiving inspiration from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is simply maintaining this pure fitrah that I have been given. Why? Because I begin to see things as they really are. Because today in this life, we live with a veil on our face. وَكَشَفْنَا عَنْكَ غِطَاءَكَ فَبَصَرُكَ الْيَوْمَ حَدِيدٌ. And the day of judgment, Allah will remove this veil from our face. But notice what the verse says, very interesting. It says, وَكَشَفْنَا عَنْكَ غِطَاءَكَ. We have removed your veil. We didn't put this veil. You did. This means throughout my life, the corruption that I have committed and the sins that I have made have caused this veil to come on my face. Because in this world, we don't see things as they truly are. Notice when we read Surah Al-Takwir, what does it say? It says, وَإِذَا الْوُحُوشُ حُشِّرَتْ. I ask you, are animals resurrected? Are animals questioned by Allah? No. What does Allah mean when He says, وَإِذَا الْوُحُوشُ حُشِّرَتْ? He says, those who acted like animals will be resurrected like animals. In this life, you have many people that act like animals. He's biting, stealing, barking. What's going on? Allah says, on the day of judgment, you will be resurrected like an animal. But for me to receive direct revelation in this world, I have to remove this veil from my eyes so that I can see things as they truly are. What do we say in our dua? We say, Allahumma arini al-haqqa haqqan fa'attabi'ah wal-batila batilan fa'ajtanibah. Oh Allah, show me things as they truly are. And only at that point, you'll be able to receive direct revelation. When you look through the vision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does it mean to look through the vision of Allah? The hadith says, اتقي فراسة المؤمن فإنه ينظر بعين الله عز وجل. Allah is describing the mu'min. He says the true mu'min looks through the vision of Allah. What does it mean to look through the vision of Allah? This means that your satisfaction is parallel with the satisfaction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma ghayyir su'a halina bihusni halik. Oh Allah, do not make anything satisfy me except if it satisfies you. Notice what Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, what does he say? He says, الدنيا أحب إلي من الجنة. This is an amazing hadith, profound. He says, الدنيا أحب إلي من الجنة. He says, this world is dearer to me than paradise. Oh, man, what do you mean this world is dearer to you than paradise? Listen what his philosophy is. Listen to the philosophy of Amir al-Mu'mineen. He says, because in this world, I'm striving to satisfy Allah. Whereas in the hereafter, Allah is striving to satisfy me. And there's no comparison between me satisfying Allah and Allah satisfying me. Salawat ala Muhammad wa Muhammad. There's no comparison. Imam has paralleled his satisfaction with the satisfaction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I do nothing except if it satisfies Allah. And only at that point I'll be able to receive direct revelation. عَبْدِ أَطِعْنِي تَكُنْ مَثَلِي تَقُلْ لِلشَّيْء كُنْ فَيَكُنْ. Allah is saying, you're going to have the same powers as me. Are we comparing us to Allah? No. This is the power that Allah has given man, not us. عَبْدِ أَطِعْنِي. Oh my servant, follow me. You'll be like me. You say to the thing, be, and it will be. ما زال عبدي يتقرب numerous hadith ما زال عبدي يتقرب لي بالنوافل حتى أكون عينه التي يبصر بها حتى أكون يده التي يبطش بها. He says, my servant will strive to get nearer and nearer to me until his eyes will be like my eyes. and his hand will be like mine. This is the power that Allah has given man. This is the power that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His greatness has been able to give man this ability. Yet the question arises, how am I able to see things as they really are? Because we just mentioned that I can see things as they really are. Only if I remove this غطاء. فَكَشَفْنَا عَنْكَ غِطَاءَكَ. Once you remove this غطاء, you'll see things as they really are. Listen to what Ali ibn Abi Talib says. He says, مَا رَأَيْتُ شَيْئًا. This is amazing. He says, مَا رَأَيْتُ شَيْئًا إِلَّا وَرَأَيْتُ اللَّهِ فِيهِ قَبْلَهُ وَبَعْدَهُ. He says, I haven't seen anything except if I've seen Allah in it, with it, behind it. We ask Amir al-Mu'mineen, how is it you haven't seen anything except if you see Allah in it, with it, behind it? Because Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, he's showing to you that everything around us is doing tasbih to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. كُلِّ يسبحون ولكن لا تفقهون تسبيحا. Everything around us is doing tasbih. These walls are doing tasbih. These trees are doing tasbih. The skies and the earth are all doing tasbih. They're praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam realizes that everything around him is doing tasbih, he begins to have this conscience inside him telling him, if nature, which is subservient to me, is able to do tasbih to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and is constantly remembering Him, then why can't I? The ants of Sulaiman receive inspiration. The Naqat Salih, the goat of Salih receives inspiration. The bees in the Quran receive inspiration. Why is it that sometimes man's heart becomes harder than rock? Sometimes, let's admit it, we begin to have this qaswat al-qalb, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls it. He says, فَوَيْنٌ لِلْقَاسِيَةِ قُلُوبُهُم. Our heart becomes hard. Now I ask you, what does it mean for our heart to be hard? What leads to qaswat al-qalb? Imam alayhi salawatullah wa salamuh describes it beautifully. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to Musa, what does He tell him? He tells him, Ya Musa, do not have everlasting hope in this world. What does this mean? Many of us forget that this world is transient. Many of us forget this world is temporary. أَرَضِيتُمْ أَن تَكُونَ مَعَ الْقَوَاعِدِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَرَضِيتُمْ بِالْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Have you become satisfied with this world? It's a big problem when we become satisfied with this world and we forget that this world is simply a bridge. Yet the question arises, once I am able to receive revelation from Allah, how do I know this is from Allah and not from shaitan? You'll ask me, what do you mean, Ali? You're telling me that other than Allah can also give revelation to His creations? وَإِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ يُوحُونَ لِأَوْلِيَائِهِمْ. Shayateen, Satan, is able to give revelation to his creation as well. It's a very scary Quran ayah. It says, وَإِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ لَيُوحُونَ إِلَىٰ أَوْلِيَائِهِمْ. The shaitan, they give revelation to their friends. But notice what the verse says, وَإِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ. It didn't say shaitan, it says shayateen, plural. Meaning what? Why is Allah saying shayateen and not shaitan? He's indicating that there are many forms that shaitan comes to you. Shaitan will come to you through the media. Shaitan will come to you through music. Shaitan will come to you through your friends. Even your friends. Friends can be as a source, as I mentioned in Ramadan. Friends can be something that gets you closer to Allah. At the same time, it can be something that gets you farther away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The most fundamental criteria to know if the inspiration is from Allah and not from shaitan is to compare this thought or this idea to Sharia. If it's in contradiction to Sharia, then you know it's a satanic revelation. If it's in parallel, affirmity with the divine revelation, meaning with Allah and Sharia, then you know it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Very simple. And understanding this concept is vital. Why? Because many people today in the Islamic world believe what they're doing is for the sake of Allah. Yet in essence they're doing something in complete contradictory to the Holy Quran. You have people today, they'll kill, they'll behead, they'll murder, they'll even explode themselves. But you find, you'll ask them, what are you doing? You tell them, are you serious? I'm going to right now have Asha, I'm going to have dinner with Rasulullah. You ask him, are you serious? What's going on? This man has mixed up His wires are mixed up. He needs to replace his wires. You ask him, is this revelation from Allah? He'll say, yes. But the world, my dear brothers and sisters, on a contemporary level, needs to be realistic. Why is it that when a man who claims to be Muslim commits an act, for example, of terrorism, or commits an act of violence, instantly they blame the religion, not the person. But when a non-Muslim commits acts of violence, they blame the person, not the religion. This is vital to understand. You find a man, he'll kill, he'll behead. If his name is Muhammad, instantly, Islam is a religion of terrorism. Yet when you have Timothy McVeigh, when you have people like Hitler, when you have the killers of Lincoln, the killers of John F. Kennedy, who are non-Muslim, you don't blame the religion, you blame the person. Why? Because they haven't understood what's from Allah and what's from Satan. In Karbala, my dear brothers and sisters, two people received revelation through the dreams. The first one was Abu Abdullah al-Hussein when he was leaving Medina and going to Karbala. Imam Abu Abdullah al-Hussein was so difficult for him to leave the land of Medina because it was the land of his grandfather Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He would go to the shrine of the Holy Prophet and he would cry and shed his tears until the time for Salat al-Subh came. He prayed his Salah. After that he fell asleep. Rasulullah came to him in his dream. Abu Abdullah tells him, Rasulullah, it's so difficult for me to leave you. How am I supposed to leave you? He says, oh Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, you are going to Karbala. You will be sacrificed. You'll be oppressed. You'll be tortured. But not far from that time, I will be there to welcome you in the land of paradise. I will be there. This gave Abu Abdullah motivation. This gave him inspiration. He was revealed through inspiration. So what Abu Abdullah al-Hussein did is that instantly when he woke up from his dream, he gathered his family members and began his trip to the land of Karbala. Who was the second person that received revelation? Today I was asked to mention this person. And this is no other than Ruqayyah, the daughter of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. If Abu Abdullah had a daughter that loved him so much, it was Ruqayyah. Those of you who have daughters, you know the extensive love that you have with one another. Abu Abdullah al-Hussein loved Ruqayyah so much, such an extent, that he would constantly be there with her. And she would always be there with him. To the extent that when they took Ruqayyah salamullahi alayha to the land of Al-Sham, what happened? She didn't know Imam Hussein was killed. She's asking, where is my father? What have you done with him? The ladies would tell her that Abu Abdullah al-Hussein is on a trip. He'll be back very soon. He'll be back very soon, don't worry. She told him, where is he? I want to see him. Ruqayyah fell asleep. Abu Abdullah came in her dream. Instantly she woke up. She said, I just seen my father. Where is he? Bring me to him. Now when the companions of Yazid heard the request of Ruqayyah, they said, take her father to him. Now Ruqayyah thought maybe a letter is coming from her father, or the father himself is coming to visit her. Instantly she finds two men coming with a tray towards her. She looks to her aunt Zainab. She says, Zainab, have I requested food? What are they bringing to me? They place the tray in front of Ruqayyah bint al-Hussein, salamullahi alayha. She removes the cover from the tray. She finds the head of her father, Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. This is Ruqayyah, my dear brothers and sisters, a 3-year-old little girl. She's there and she's beginning to witness the head of her father, Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. She instantly puts her head on the head of her father and she begins to cry and she begins to have a conversation with him. She tells him, من لليتيم حتى تكبر أبا يا حسين من للنساء. She tells him, oh Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, who will be there to protect me when you're not here? Who is there to protect the ladies when you have left us already? Zainab salamullahi alayha and Zain al-Abidin are there looking at Ruqayyah cry over the head of her father Hussein. Zain al-Abidin tells Zainab, he tells her, oh Zainab, remove Ruqayyah from the head of her father. She tells him, why? Let her speak to her father. She hasn't seen him in months. He tells her, Amma Zainab, laqad matat al-tifla. He tells her, oh Zainab, Ruqayyah has left this world. Take her away from the head of her father. والله شيلي من راس وليها والله ماتت الطفلة من بكيها. He tells her, Zainab, remove her. Due to her oppression and due to the depression and the state that she was in, she's not able to handle the situation. They remove Ruqayya Salamullahi alayha from the head of her father Hussein. They begin to wash the body of Ruqayya Salamullahi alayha. When the lady was washing the body of Ruqayya, wallah, this line should break the heart of every lover of Ahlul Bayt. When they're washing the body of Ruqayya Salamullahi alayha, the lady tells them, oh people, oh Zainab Abidin, oh Zainab, this lady is sick. This little girl is sick, I think that's why she died. Zainab Salamullahi alayha begins to cry innocently. She tells her, oh lady, this is not due to sickness. This is due to the whips of Shimr and Umar ibn Sa'd while she was walking from the land of Sham. ساعد الله قلبك يا زينب أترجو أمة قتلت حسينا شفاعة جده يوم الحساب. اللهم تقبل منا هذا القليل. Oh Allah, we ask you, oh Allah, we ask you by Ruqayya and her father and her mother and the family of Al Muhammad to accept this little from us. Oh Allah, we ask you to hasten the appearance of Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman. Allahumma ajil waliyika al-faraj. Allahumma ja'alna min ansarih wa atba'ih wal-mustashhadeen bayna yadayh. Oh Allah, protect and bless the organizers of this program. Oh Allah, we ask you to cure all the sick ones and to answer all our prayers. Before Allah, salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.